Okay, Dr. RJB or Dr. Bruno, as my patients know me. Um, and today I wanted to talk about something to do with preventive health. Um, and I know this is a topic that may make people squeamish. I'm sorry, I talked about this for so many years in my practice, so you're going to have to deal with it. And the topic is colonoscopy. Um, now, I promote colonoscopy for all people after the age of 50. Um, and if that makes you squeamish, I would say too bad, because it could save your life. Um, so many of my patients had colonoscopies and they found that they had polyps that were precancerous. Now, if they didn't go for that colonoscopy, it's quite possible that those polyps may have turned into cancer and it might have taken their lives. So, by doing that colonoscopy, they were able to save their life, basically. Um, when President Reagan was running for office, they found that he had um, a polyp. He was having, I guess, some rectal bleeding problems, actually. Not a polyp, but he had rectal bleeding. But he didn't want to do anything about it because he was running for president. And he didn't want people to think that he was not fit for the presidency. So he decided to put things off and not take care of the problem. About a year or two later, after he was already in the office, his doctor sent him for a colonoscopy. They found that he had a cancerous polyp. Um, Fortunately, the cancer had not spread. They were able to remove that polyp and save the president's life. Um, but there you go. I mean, there's a guy who's running for office, supposedly a smart man. He had rectal bleeding and did nothing about it, and almost lost his life over it. Fortunately for him, like I said, the cancerous polyp that they found hadn't spread yet, and they were able to catch it in time. So that saved his life. So these colonoscopies can be a lifesaver. Um, uh, Definitely follow whatever your primary care doctor's a recommendation is. Some people say 45 years of age, some people say 50 years of age. I don't think it much matters exactly when you start, as long as you follow the recommendations afterwards. Uh, I started mine at age 50. I had one at age 60. I had one at age 70. So they basically usually go once every 10 years if there's no polyps found. If there's polyps found, depending on what kind of polyps they are, you may have to go every 5 years. You may even have to go every 2 or 3 years to prevent the polyps from coming back. Definitely, if they find that you have multiple polyps throughout your bowel, they're going to tell you you're going to have to keep on coming back until they remove all of them. And also, they're going to tell you that you're going to have to come back maybe in a year or two to look for more polyps. Some people develop a whole bunch of polyps because of genetics. So, for those people, the colonoscopy, once again, is a lifesaver because they have a high risk of cancer. So that's the kind of thing. Now, sometimes somebody may decide that they're going to just do stool for occult blood. Um, Problem with that is you can't see any polyps when you do a stool for occult blood. There's another company called Cologuard where they test the DNA. Again, you can't see a polyp when you're just testing DNA. The thing about the colonoscopy is that you can go in there, check for polyps, and remove them. Um, and you can't do that with any other technique. Um, so I always tell people at the very least, you should have one colonoscopy done so they can check your bowel. If you decide after that you don't want to do any more, if you don't have polyps and they tell you to come back in 10 years and you don't come back in 10 years, well, you got pretty good bet that maybe you won't ever have any precancerous polyps. But if you don't do it at all, and they can't remove those precancerous polyps, you're taking a big risk. Okay, so this is prevented health. Try to do your colonoscopies. Okay, great.